Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minutes with Santi. Today we're going to talk about immigration. I'm going to preface with this, I'm not an immigration lawyer, I'm just giving you my 2 cents as a Colombian immigrant who immigrated to Canada and the United States. So for those Americans saying, hey, if Trump gets reelected, we're moving to Canada for real. Well, for real, you can't. Canada is a real country with regulations and laws. Also, Canadians secretly hate you. They're just too polite to tell it to your face. If you move to Canada, you should be able to withstand temperatures between minus 30 degrees and minus 40 degrees, and that is both Celsius and Fahrenheit. Just when both meet and they're like, why are we here? This makes no sense. Let's just move to something warmer like Mexico. I'm going to say the fact right from the get-go. For people in America, unless you're a native, guess what? You are an immigrant. And another fact, the net impact of immigration has been positive on the global economy.
If more people migrated, the world would be a lot richer.
The best estimate says that if people were allowed to work where they wanted, the world's GDP would be roughly double.
But many people in rich countries don't want to let more people in.
The challenge is that immigrating from a poor country to a rich country is very difficult unless you have a family member that's willing to sponsor you, or you have a job offer, a particular set of skills, to move to that country. The immigration system in the United States has been a complete mess. Way before Trump got elected, he just made you feel like Mexicans were ready to just jump you and stab you in the face.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
So President Trump has been very vocal about the good immigrants, quote unquote, and he's proposed something called merit-based immigration.
Hey, so this story about the president's announcement coming up, I think is really interesting. I know there's a big debate about merit-based immigration, but a lot of countries do it. It's done in Canada.
That's right.
But, you know, it all sort of depends on what you put the weight on. And certainly the thing about this country is there are all types of people that are needed to fill jobs, not just people with PhDs or whatever, right? Precisely.
Oh snap, Canada does it, Australia does it, New Zealand does it, pretty much every developed country does merit-based immigration because it makes sense. That's like going to play a baseball game and saying like, hey, I don't want the Latinos, I only want the white guys. It makes absolutely no sense from a competitive standpoint. The fundamental difference between the United States and these countries is that it borders Latin America, which has a tremendous amount of influx of immigration into the US. But that also has its advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, you get delicious food, diversity, cheap labor that makes you globally competitive. Disadvantages, you get a disproportionate amount of undocumented people in your country. However, the United States ranks at the bottom of the table when compared to other developed countries taking in immigrants. It ranks right next to Japan, and we all know that Japan is not the friendliest of countries with immigrants and diversity. Who would have thought that Germany was going to be on top? If 70 years ago someone would have come up to me and said, hey, Germany's going to turn this around, I'd be like, you're farting in my face. Listen, I know that these numbers are not totally accurate. They don't account for undocumented immigrants, and the immigration subject is way more complicated than you can narrow it down into 5 minutes. All I'm saying is that both merit-based immigration makes sense and family-based immigration makes sense. You can't just overhaul the entire system into one complete system. It's got to be a balance of both. And you should also take care of the immigrants that are already in your country, documented or undocumented. These people have been contributing to your GDP. They've made you a very competitive country, and they're willing to take jobs that no one else would be able to take. You should be able to recognize that illegal immigration has its advantages and disadvantages, and you should have humanity with these people so that we avoid shit like this.
Came to the U.S. because there were people who wanted to hurt us.
There's no room to move without stepping over the others. We were not given a mat to sleep on, so we had to sleep on the cold concrete floor. The lights are on all the time.
Thank you so much for watching 5 Minutes with Santi. If you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, share with your friends. I really appreciate you watching it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!